We are being lied to. A recent headline originating from Seoul didn't just report an interesting shift in American sports culture, it weaponized it, proclaiming that in a tight U.S. preference poll, soccer, hitting 10%, had finally surpassed baseball at 9%, leading to the incendiary, toxic conclusion Son Heung-min defeated Shohei Ohtani.
If you're tired of sound bites masquerading as analysis, if you want to understand the tectonic plates shifting beneath the feet of Ohtani, Messi, and Son, then pull up a seat. This is 617 News, where we dissect the numbers media uses to divide, not inform. The greatest mystery here isn't the 1% differential. It's why anyone would take a statistical hair's breadth and attempt to transform it into a grand personal defeat for one of the most dominant athletes the world has ever seen.
Let's start with the data itself. The report, citing surveys conducted by outlets like Fox Sports and The Economist, indeed shows soccer climbing into the third spot of preferred American sports, pushing the traditional pastime, baseball, down to fourth. This narrow victory, built on the back of MLS's aggressive digital strategy and the arrival of global titans like Lionel Messi and, crucially, Son Heung-min, is presented as an irreversible verdict.
But we need to hold that headline up to the light. I spoke with Dr. Elena Sato, a specialist in global sports demographics, who put it bluntly, statistically, a 1% margin in a preference poll is within the standard error of deviation. It is not an overthrow, it is statistical noise weaponized for clicks.
She pointed out that if you were to ask the same group, which sport do you have the most casual interest in, MLB would crush MLS by orders of magnitude, a concept that media outlets conveniently ignore when they seek conflict. The core counter-argument from the Son-Ohtani comparison camp is simple. Baseball is old, slow, and culturally receding, while soccer is young, global, and ascendant. They cite the influx of star power, Messi, Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, and Son Heung-min himself, as proof that MLS is now the league of destiny, while MLB is desperately using pitch clocks and shifting rules to combat its aging fan base. But let's introduce some weight to this discussion. We must compare apples to apples, the leagues, not just the players.
When you talk about genuine market penetration, MLB is a $12 billion enterprise. The average MLB team valuation sits staggeringly at $2.3 billion. MLS, while rapidly gaining ground, is still projected closer to a $1.5 billion annual revenue, with team valuations averaging closer to $600 million. Mark Jensen, a former senior executive for a major U.S. sports network, scoffed at the comparison.
Son and Messi are massive stars, yes, he told us, but they are investment vehicles designed to raise the floor of MLS, not proof they've sunk the ceiling of MLB. Comparing the league's financial dominance is like comparing a highly successful speedboat to an aircraft carrier. The truth is, Son Heung-min's move to the LA Galaxy, or any MLS team, is a strategic coup for the league, particularly in tapping into the wealthy, digital-native Asian American market and the massive Hispanic demographic, whose loyalty to football has always been the sleeping giant of U.S. sports.
This is a profound, structural change, driven by sociology and savvy business, not the individual merit of one phenomenal player over another. This brings us to the climax of this narrative. Why Ohtani? Why must the comparison be manufactured against the man who redefined modern baseball? The media's calculation is brilliant, cynical, and deeply revealing. By positioning Son's achievement as defeating Ohtani, they achieve immediate global recognition, leveraging Ohtani's unassailable brand recognition. Shohei Ohtani, regardless of baseball's national popularity ranking, remains the undisputed king of Asian athletes in North American sports, holding a cultural cachet that transcends any single league. When the Korean media needed to sell the idea of a major national athletic victory, they didn't compare Son to an American superstar like LeBron James or Patrick Mahomes. They chose Ohtani, the ultimate symbol of rival Asian dominance in the American sphere. They knew that a headline focusing solely on the 10% statistic wouldn't travel,
But Son Heung-min defeated Ohtani? That is pure, unadulterated media gold. Professor Lee Choi offered a fascinating perspective on this tactical choice.
The Korean sports media isn't suffering from a simple case of nationalism, she explained. They are suffering from a chronic case of Ohtani complex. They must constantly measure their success against the most potent symbol of Japanese athletic power. By tying Son's success, which is very real, to Ohtani's perceived decline, they are manufacturing a storyline that guarantees clicks, engagement, and most importantly, validation on the global stage. This is the plot twist. The ultimate measure of Son's success, in the eyes of this particular media narrative, is how strongly he can be framed as an agent of Ohtani's downfall. Paradoxically, the comparison serves only to reinforce the monumental status of Ohtani, who remains the yardstick against which all Asian athletic achievement in U.S. sports is currently measured.
Ohtani's $700 million contract and his singular ability to generate international buzz, attracting both Asian and non-traditional baseball fans, shows that he isn't just thriving in an old sport, he is the engine transforming it. The competition here isn't on the field, it's a battle for emotional territory, for the narrative rights to global Asian sports dominance, fought with flimsy polling data.
The truth is, Ohtani and Son are both breaking barriers and are essential to their respective leagues' globalization efforts. The manufactured rivalry serves only to diminish the respect due to both men. If you found this analysis compelling, if you believe that sports stories deserve more than sensationalized headlines and nationalistic spin, smash that like button, share this video with someone who needs the real context, and make sure you subscribe to 617 News so you don't miss our deep dives into the global sports economy.
Tell us in the comments below, do you think the media's focus on personal rivalries like Son versus Ohtani harms the overall appreciation of both athletes' achievements? We want to hear your take.